The South China Sea calm on the surface, but beneath those waters lies a storm of geopolitical rivalry. This region is not just a fishing ground. It is one of the world's busiest shipping lanes, carrying trillions of dollars in trade every year and hiding vast reserves of oil, gas, and marine resources. For decades, it has been the focus of territorial disputes, but in September 2025, the tension escalated again. Two events happening almost simultaneously revealed just how fragile the balance has become. A violent clash between Chinese Coast Guard vessels and a Philippine supply ship near Scarborough Shoal, and a high-profile naval maneuver by U.S. and Australian warships sailing side by side to send a clear political signal. On September 16, 2025, the Philippine fisheries vessel BRP Datu Gumbay Piang was on a resupply mission. Its job, to bring food, water, and essential supplies to dozens of small fishing boats operating near Scarborough Shoal. But before it could complete the mission, Chinese Coast Guard ships closed in. Through loudspeakers, they declared, "These are Chinese waters. Leave immediately." The Filipinos pressed on, then came the water cannons. For half an hour, high-pressure streams pounded the Philippine ship. Windows shattered, navigation systems were damaged, and one sailor was injured by flying glass. The confrontation didn't end there. A Chinese naval vessel nearby broadcast another chilling warning. A live fire drill would soon take place near the shoal. For local fishermen, it was a moment of fear. Some fled the waters, afraid of being caught in the middle of military exercises. Scarborough Shoal, though small and uninhabited, has once again become a flashpoint, a place where fishing boats, Coast Guard cutters, and warships collide in a dangerous mix of livelihood and power politics. The Philippines wasted no time. Manila filed a formal diplomatic protest, condemning China's actions as dangerous and unlawful. Images of the damaged supply ship spread quickly across local media, fueling public anger. Allies rallied to Manila's side. The United States issued a strong statement, calling the incident yet another example of Beijing's coercive tactics in the South China Sea. Australia, the United Kingdom, and Canada joined the criticism, warning that China's newly declared marine reserve around Scarborough Shoal looked less like environmental protection and more like a strategic territorial claim. For the Philippines, the clash underscored a painful truth. Despite international law, including the 2016 arbitration ruling that rejected China's sweeping claims, Beijing continues to assert control through force at sea. While the Philippines was locked in confrontation, two of its closest partners were sending their own message. In the same waters, the USS Dewey, an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, and the HMAS Ballarat, an upgraded Anzac-class frigate, conducted joint naval exercises. These drills included formation sailing, tactical communication, and simulated damage control operations. Helicopters lifted off from decks, radars scanned the skies, and crews practiced seamless coordination. To the casual observer, it was just another exercise. But to anyone watching closely, the symbolism was unmistakable. The United States and Australia were demonstrating interoperability, readiness, and above all, unity. Their presence was a reminder that while China expands its claims, Western allies are not retreating from the region. Together, the Scarborough clash and the US-Australia drills tell a bigger story. China is pressing its claims, using coast guards, environmental designations, and shows of force. The Philippines is resisting with legal protests, supply missions, and calls for international support. Meanwhile, the US and Australia are demonstrating alliance power. They're reminding the world and China that freedom of navigation isn't negotiable. And at the center of it all are ordinary fishermen, whose lives depend on access to these waters. For them, politics isn't abstract. It's the difference between feeding their families or being forced out of their livelihoods. Why do these events matter? Because the South China Sea is more than just water. It is a highway for 1/3 of global trade, a strategic crossroads linking the Pacific and Indian Oceans, and a contested arena where sovereignty, security, and survival intersect. For fishermen, like those resupplied by the Philippine vessel, it's about daily survival. For China, it's about history and power projection. For the Philippines, it's about defending sovereignty against a much larger neighbor. And for the US and Australia, it's about keeping sea lanes open and preventing any single country from dominating the region. Every clash, every drill, every diplomatic note adds to the risk of miscalculation. A single accident, a collision, an overreaction, even a misunderstood signal could spark a crisis far greater than intended. So, what lies ahead? China will likely continue to tighten its control, using both Coast Guard ships and legal instruments like marine reserves. The Philippines will push back through protests, international appeals, and by strengthening alliances. Meanwhile, US and Australian warships will keep patrolling, and they may soon be joined by others. Japan, India, and European navies seeking to assert freedom of navigation. The South China Sea will remain a chessboard of power, where fishermen, diplomats, and destroyers all play their part. Scarborough Shoal may be just a ring of reefs, but it has become a symbol of something much larger: the struggle between law and force, small nations and great powers, sovereignty and dominance. The joint maneuvers of US and Australian warships highlight solidarity. The clash at Scarborough highlights vulnerability. Together they paint a picture of a region where calm waters can turn stormy in an instant. The world is watching. The stakes are enormous. And the question remains, will the South China Sea be a sea of cooperation or a sea of conflict?